how green is this farmer's valley?
I like the concept of everything's been hidden away, so very occasionally I stand up here and I can see a corner of a building, and I'll shoot back and plant a tree just to cover the corner.
Well, no prizes for guessing who he is. Bruce Wills, elected president of Federated Farmers last year after just 1 year on the national board. Well, at a summit meeting over Easter, Federated Farmers' top players met with Bruce Wills to discuss how hill country farmers can manage their environmental challenges. It's a challenge their new president faces on his own farm, and that raises the question, how green are his hills and valleys? Well, our Rural Affairs correspondent Drew Chappell travelled down to Trelinnoe on the Taupo-Napier Highway to find out.
The last decade hasn't been great for working the land in the Hawke's Bay, nor have returns been high for sheep and beef farmers. You'd think then that survival under those circumstances would mark out a man as special, and you'd be right.
4th of October 2009, we were shearing hoggets that day, and it was 33 degrees. Got really hot and muggy. In fact, I sent the shearers home early that day. That was a Saturday, because it was so hot and muggy. 24 hours later, I was mustering those same shorn sheep out of 8 inches of snow.
Cheers.
So from 33 degrees to 8 inches of snow, 24 hours.
Bruce Wills has come full circle in his life, back to the farm where he grew up and then left to pursue a career in banking more than 30 years ago. He's been back on the land in the Hawke's Bay now for nearly a decade, but it's in Wellington where he's making waves as the new president of Federated Farmers.
It's probably one of the things that keeps me from putting on too much weight sitting in Wellington for hours in the office. I come back here and I lose a few plenty of perspiration, but I enjoy it.
Bruce and his brother run nearly 8,000 sheep and beef units around the 800 hectares of pasture on their family property, as well as running a successful tour operation on the side. His mission since coming back to farming has been simple: to plant trees. And he's certainly done that. There are more than 7,000 poplars and willows alone at last count.
There's lots of days when I'm out here all day doing stuff. There's another 2 people somewhere on the farm. I never see them. Yeah. Occasionally I might hear a bike way in the distance or a dog barking, so you know something's happening.
It hasn't all been smooth sailing, of course. The first 6 years back were hard going, as both the weather and the economy conspired against red meat farmers in the region. The last 2 years, however, have seen business change for the better, and ever the optimist, Bruce says it could be a trend.
With a summer like this, it's really heartening, because not only good for the stock and the, I guess, rebuilding sort of strength in your pastures, but it's just good for the soul, because you just realise it can rain this time of year. You can have a green February in Hawke's Bay, and it's been heartening.
Yes, yeah.
So we look forward to a few more. So I hope.
You begin to sense a familiar theme with Bruce Wills, viewing the future, both short and long term, as just as important as the present. It's made him a popular figure in both the media and at the beehive, as support for the so-called green movement continues to grow.
I hear very clearly the concerns that come from our councils, from our urban population, from central government. And as a general rule, certainly my message to farmers is that we do have to step up. We do have to do better with our environmental management. Thankfully, a lot of farmers do a wonderful, wonderful job. And you know, one aspect I do get grumpy with is the fact that too often we get media or others throwing criticism at farmers, which for most of us is not warranted. Sure, there is a bunch out there that need to put up their socks, and certainly within Federated Farmers we are pushing that group pretty strongly.
And if he ever needs reminding of just what is at stake, he can take a stroll through the magnificent tourist attraction that is his family's garden. The Trelinnoe Gardens were established way back in 1960 and occupy more than 13 hectares of the Wills family property. They contain more than 20,000 trees and acres of lawn to boot, and since opening to the public 25 years ago, more than 100,000 visitors have been through to admire its beauty. Visitors who often take away more than just nice snapshots.
one of the things that I guess heartens me is when they leave, they say thanks, Bruce, for showing us your property, and a good number of them will say we're going to go home and plant some trees, because they see what trees can do to not only build that resilience but to beautify property, just to make it a far more pleasant place to work and live. This here, 15 years ago, this was a paddock. So we had quite a major expansion to the garden 15 years ago. So we're lucky, stuff grows here very, very quickly.
Yeah, no, it's just amazing. Not content with his own slice of paradise, Bruce is determined to spread the message to wider New Zealand and get more people excited about the possibilities.
There's still another 700,000 hectares that we have highlighted in New Zealand that needs a lot more willows and poplars particularly. It's too open, it's too at risk for erosion, for slips. So there's a big task ahead of us, and we work closely with councils throughout New Zealand to just encourage more farmers to plant more trees on their properties.
His experiences here and in the city as a banker have given him a unique insight into both town and country life, and a sense of balance that few people can claim.
Cheers. We'll catch you again. Bye-bye. A lot of people question my sanity, and they, because it was pretty hard to walk away from not only an air-conditioned office and a company car and a weekly salary, but you walk away from that well, and during that period we had two of the worst years economically for sheep and cattle farming for 50 years. Throw on top of that 3 horrific droughts, one on top of the other. And I guess what the concern built up in farmers at that stage, of course, is it's pretty hard to see at the other side of that.
His background means he understands the motivation behind many attacks on farmers from the wider public, although much of this, he says, is based on myth, not reality. He says if the public gets behind our farming sector, the future will be brighter for both.
When you look at the prices we're getting, the feel I get from international markets, add to that the sort of the Goldilocks summer that most New Zealanders had, it's no wonder a few of us are smiling. So and we hope that smile sticks around for a good number of years yet.
Chappell reporting.